Okay, I'm going to call our meeting to order. So I'm going to call our regular board meeting to order for June the 16th for the Sunrise School Division Board of Trustees. My name is Paul Magna. I'm the board chair. We are going to have O Canada from Gillis School. Please stand if you can do so. Thank you to Gillis School. We're going to have a treaty acknowledgement. I'm going to ask Trustee Harris for a treaty acknowledgement, please.
We acknowledge the traditional land upon which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnership with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Thanks, Mr. Harris. Introductions in the room here. To my left is Superintendent Reed, to Secretary Treasurer Thiessen, Assistant Superintendent Fieldberg. We have Trustee Smith, we have Trustee Rowland, we have Trustee Dent, Trustee Wilson, Trustee Rowan, we have Trustee Harris, as well as we have Jennifer Baker, the Executive Assistant helping us. And we have Jody Wilgosh, one of the Assistant Principals in the division, who is not here. Is we have Trustee Boytson is not able to make it, but that's our crew that's here. So welcome everyone. We need the adoption of the agenda. I do need to add one thing to the agenda. Can we add 8:13 Trustee Boytson leave request? Hearing that, be it resolved that the board approve the agenda. We need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Dent and seconded by Trustee Wilson. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. And thank you. It passed 7-0. If you have any questions and you're online, please send all your questions to jody.thiessen@sunrisesd.ca. Put your name and address with the question, and we'll get to your questions later on during questioning period. I'm going to open up to share a story. Who would like to go ahead and share? Trustee Wilson.
Okay, on Sunday, June 7th, I attended the Royal Canadian Legion Lac du Bonny Branch number 164 Decoration Day. The event honored those who served, with RCMP members and retired members in attendance. Several quilts of valor were on display, and the quilts were made by volunteers as an expression of thanks to those who served and to honor their service and their sacrifice. During the service, Robert Hampshire was presented with a quilt of valor. I'm also going to be attending Lac du Bonny graduation on June 19th, Centennial School Talent Day on June 26th, and Centennial Farewell on June 29th.
Thanks, Trustee Wilson. Anyone else? Trustee Rowan?
Trustee Dent and I attended the SCI Jazz Cabaret. They did a great job transforming the gym, creating some great ambiance. They had an extensive set with an impressive repertoire. The love for music was evident in the SCI gym that evening. On Friday, June 5th, I joined Trustee Magnan and some of the senior admin team in Powerview, where we were able to attend their powwow. This is my second year in attendance. I loved seeing everyone in their regalia, moving to the beat of the drums. During their opening ceremonies, they have the students graduating both kindergarten and high school walk as dignitaries. It's an impressive event that celebrates the Indigenous culture. And in the coming weeks, I'm looking forward to celebrating student achievements at both graduation and farewell ceremonies.
Thanks, Trustee Rowan. Anyone else? So I'm going to share a couple things. Is that we have lots of activities going on in our schools, and so a big thank you to our staff for all the work that they're going ahead and doing in our schools. It's a busy, busy time of the year. Students are studying for final exams. I think last week we had provincial exams in math. So lots of things that were going on. So thank you for all the work that our staff are going ahead and doing, as it is a very hectic time in our schools. Again, thanks, Trustee Rowan, for mentioning about the powwow in Powerview on June the 5th. It was an excellent event, and it's getting bigger and stronger each year. June the 11th is when we had our divisional long service and retirement dinner, and again, I think that all of our trustees were able to attend, but it was again something for us to recognize our employees. And you know what, thanks Jennifer, you were a big person in organizing that, and thanks to senior admin certainly about being there. But it was a pretty special evening, so thank you to all of our staff certainly for that. The other thing is, I don't even know if trustees know this, is that I attended the IERHA Health Work Coalition meeting on June the 4th, and it's really about the school coming together with municipalities to talk about training our kids to stay in the healthcare system in the area and work in our area. And the stats that we were shown, and the board was showing these stats, certainly at one of the meetings that we went to with regard to, is that there's not a lot of people that are working in our hospitals that are living in our communities. Many of them are coming from outside of our communities. So it's just a little plug here, is that it's something that we need to be partnering with our municipalities and with the local health authorities, as to continue to train people within our communities so that they'll stay in our communities and work in our communities with healthcare. Anyone else share a story? Okay. We have a delegation here, we have Mr. Wilgosh. I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Reid, to introduce him.
Yeah, it won't take long to introduce Mr. Jody Wilgosh, who's one of our division principals, and he's here this evening to bring us the information. Sorry, why it's not loading up here, on our career development program in Sunrise School Division. So just a second.
Okay, I know that you had a pretty flashy presentation there, but that's...
Never done that to me before. Can you bring it up?
We'll get it going. We'll get it going.
Well, you're just going to have to wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. There we go. Just give me the look.
Okay, so the purpose of this review is to identify areas of strength and recommend actions that will further enhance programming across Sunrise School Division. I think I'll just sit back like this. Yep, there we go, like that. Yep. So we surveyed all of our career development teachers. Middle years and high school administrators were provided feedback through a roundtable discussion at a SELP meeting we had here in April. And a total of 131 students enrolled in career development courses across the school division completed a student-specific survey. And they actually did a really good job of completing that survey. Lots of really good info in there. So, career development teachers reported that students are generally well informed about post-secondary education, training pathways, and employment opportunities following graduation. However, they identified several challenges. Limited exposure to a wide range of occupations, particularly in rural areas where fewer businesses are available to engage with students. A perceived gap between school expectations and work expectations, and concerns regarding how emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence, may impact future career pathways. They also expressed a desire for increased access to in-class presentations from diverse occupations, stronger partnerships and more consistent engagement with local businesses, and expanded opportunities for students to explore a broader range of careers. The students, they reported feeling well informed about post-secondary and education employment opportunities. However, they identified several areas where support is needed, and that included lacking confidence in their ability to succeed in post-secondary education, support with financial literacy and the skills required for independent living. They also indicated a preference for more hands-on and experiential learning opportunities, earlier exposure to a variety of career paths, some additional guidance on post-secondary processes, particularly university registration, and a stronger emphasis on developing and demonstrating job-ready skills. Administrators expressed confidence that increasing academic rigor and expectations will better prepare students for post-secondary education and the workforce. They also highlighted a need for stronger community partnerships and to expand career exposure opportunities, as well as the value of career fairs, job expos, and presentations from post-secondary institutions and employers in supporting student decision-making. So, recommendations. Number one, increase student exposure to a broader range of occupations within career development programming. Number two, strengthen partnerships and engagement with local businesses and community organizations. And three, expand opportunities for in-class presentations from universities, colleges, and industry professionals. For those three recommendations, that is going to be the focus of our career development coordinators, and I'm the one who oversees that, so I will be ensuring that those three things are going to be taking place next year. Number four, the last recommendation is support the full implementation of the updated grade 9 math curriculum. The pilot phase starts in September, and that focuses on financial literacy, including budgeting, saving, borrowing, and understanding credit. So for that provincial pilot, we had 4 teachers that expressed interest to be a part of that. Unfortunately, none of them were chosen by the province, but that doesn't mean that we can't still implement. And so we are still encouraging our grade 9 math teachers to implement as much as they can of the new curriculum, because everybody has access to it. Because that was pretty clear from the students, is that they don't know what to do in terms of finances and next steps. That's it. Any questions?
Jody, while somebody's speaking, you just need to turn off your microphone. Thanks, Jody. Any questions for Jody? Trustee Dent.
I have a question regarding one of the recommendations. Number 2, strengthen partnerships and engagement with local businesses and community organizations. I'm wondering if you had identified any community organizations and businesses that you're looking at developing partnerships with, and what that may look like.
There wasn't anything specifically identified. I think what was clear from the feedback from both teachers and the students was that they wanted more of a wider range. Not the same, there was some of the feedback from the kids was it's sort of the same thing, same people coming in, same ones that we're hearing, and so we need to expand that and have it more diverse.
Thanks, Jody. Trustee Rowland.
Sorry to ask such a rudimentary question, but can you please tell me a little bit more about the career development courses? Like, is this a full-term course that is it for credit, and what grades? I'm sorry if you said here. And when would these kids be taking this?
Yep. So there's credit, or career development courses. It's LifeWorks is kind of the catch-all title, and so it starts in grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so you can do half credits or you can do full credits. In addition to that, there's 2 credits that you can get for credit for employment. So if kids are working during the year or throughout the summer, they accumulate 55 hours for a credit or 110 hours for 2 credits. They can also get 2 credits if they for credit, CDI credit, I forget what that, internship, sorry, for internship, CDI. So they can get 2 credits for that as well. And so those courses are offered across our high schools in kind of in different, very different ways. Did that answer your question? No?
But what are they doing while they're in class?
So there is a curriculum for each of those, as well as different, they're bringing different people in to give the students different information about, so here's different jobs, here's different things that you can be exposed to. They're also doing like interest surveys of, what is your aptitude, like what are some things you're interested in, and how can that translate into future employment.
Anyone else? Trustee Harris?
On the second slide called process, the third bullet, I'm not sure how clear that number 131 is. Are there a total of 131 students in the career development course, or 131 students completed the student-specific survey out of X number of more students?
Yep, it was 131 that completed the survey, and so we sent it out to, the difficulty was we have some of our students that took career development courses in the first semester, and so we did the surveys in the second semester, so we did get some of them, but it was tough to get those students to do this survey when they weren't taking that course, and gave as many reminders as we could. I don't know how many, I can find out how many students are registered in career development courses. It's more than that. I don't want to guess. Trevor?
I wouldn't hazard a guess necessarily at how many are in any given one year, but I would say the overwhelming majority of students in Sunrise take a career development course sometime over their 4 years in the high school program.
Kind of 2 questions. First one, do they, as part of the course, having like a practicum, like in high school, I had a course and I did a practicum. I had one at a real estate agency, one at a travel agency. And another question I have is, does this involve different courses, like introductory courses, like you can take like law course, which is a prerequisite to a course you would take in university, or like that kind of thing?
Yeah, so depending on the grade, so for instance, the grade 12 life work transitioning is what it's called, and so that there's 68 hours of community experience, and so they're either in businesses or they're doing some volunteering, and then that kind of goes down. So grade 11 is 46 hours, grade 10 is 26 hours, and grade 9 is 22 hours. So they're doing some experience outside of the classroom. And the law one is separate from my understanding, not part of the career development. Yeah.
One of the bullets in your report here under administrators was increasing academic rigor and expectations will better prepare students for post-secondary education and the workforce. How might Sunrise accomplish that, and your goals accomplish that?
Whoa, that's a big question. Mm-hmm. It's something that came up, maybe surprisingly, but it was across the board from our administrators, is that we do value high expectations, but we also value understanding where kids are coming from and what they're bringing and trying to meet their learning needs. And so to balance those things, as well as understanding what the businesses and work community are wanting from our kids, it feels like those things aren't matching right now. And so, one of the things is attendance and lates and things. And so like when we show up late to work, we might not be getting paid, or we might not be getting the same amount of hours. When we do that in school, it's okay, because we understand that you were looking after your little sister, you tried to get them on the bus and those kind of things. So that's that balance.
See that?
One more for me. Maybe with your best sales pitch, because we have millions watching. What is or are some of the benefits for businesses and community organizations? What are the benefits for them partnering with Sunrise School Division and being a part of our wonderful students' academic career?
You guys are really putting me on the spot tonight. I think it's a couple things. Like I think successful businesses need to have community connections, and so the best way to connect to the community is have the kids be a part of that, and hope that they're going to continue being, supporting your business and bringing others in. But financially, it can benefit them, especially for apprenticeship. This review wasn't about apprenticeship, but that's certainly a part of it and can leak in. Yeah, like I think the more that we can have businesses have kids be a part of them is going to benefit both our schools and our communities.
Anyone else? 2 questions, Jody. Yeah, in the 3 recommendations that you talked about. So this board would like to hear next June as to where we are with those recommendations. They're good goals to set out. So we would like to know, have we expanded opportunities? Have we strengthened partnerships? Have we increased student exposure? So we would like to know those things as to where you are. Great goals to go ahead. And then you do have, you do make a comment about concerns regarding how emerging technologies, including AI, may impact future career paths. So for the 1 million people that are listening online and the 9 of us that are here, AI, what does this board need to be aware or concerned about, and maybe that's a loaded question but what do we need in your opinion?
I think the biggest fear with kids is that the unknown is how many jobs is AI going to take that I may have been interested in. And the unknown is we really don't know. And so that's why all the other skills are really important that we need to be, teaching our kids. And so, it's the grit and the perseverance and making sure that I'm going to be there on time. I'm a good citizen. I know how to work on teams. Those are things that are really important because those are going to be valuable skills no matter what happens.
Those things that you just said with regard to grit and perseverance and working with teams and those kind of things, those are obviously key qualities that we want our students to go ahead and learn. And I hope that as you're talking with principals and then with the teachers that are teaching these courses and then parents when they come in, those are some of the things. And because I think there was a question about course, what was the word? Not the bar, but it was rigor. Thank you. Course rigor is certainly pretty key to us, right? As to student expectations, right? Thank you very much for that. Anyone else? All right, thanks, Jody. We appreciate you coming by. I know that Trustee Smith has to leave. Thank you for that. We have minutes from our June 2nd meeting, so be it resolved that the board adopt our June 2nd minutes. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Dent, seconded by Trustee Rowan. Any questions to the minutes? Hearing none, we'll vote, please. She wants to do this by hand? Didn't she just left? Okay, so we're going to do this by hand. Pardon me?
And all subsequent ones.
Yeah. Well, anyways, for now.
For now.
All those in favor? So there's 6, and it was carried. Thank you. Superintendent's reports, Mr. Reed.
All right, well, we'll try this again. No. Not gonna happen. So the report is there for your information, and so we're just going to start by saying it's the end of the school year, and as we get to the end of the school year, we just say congratulations to all of our students and another successful year, and most importantly to our graduates who will be graduating later this month. So we have our 5 high schools and 3 of our 6 colonies have graduating students this year, and so congratulations to them and their families, and we hope they enjoy those celebrations. It's already been mentioned a couple of times tonight, but we were at the Equal Powerview School 3rd Showcase Powwow last week. Great day. It was just really evident the pride emanating and coming from all of the students to be part of that event. Congratulations to the staff and the students and everyone who had a hand in organizing the event. It was just another great day. Our final SELT meeting of the year, again, was June the 3rd. And we did take a bit of a break from our typical format of lots of learning that was going on, and we took some time to celebrate the accomplishments across our schools over the course of the school year. And that was just, it was a time really well spent. We were just so thoroughly impressed to hear the depth, the things that our schools were proud of. Lots of student successes and staff successes. It was mentioned our assistant superintendent, Mr. Fieldberg, as we were halfway through, leaned over and said we should be recording this because, you know, it's just so uplifting to hear what's going on in our schools. So lots of good work going on in our schools, and it was nice to take the time to celebrate that. So I think as most of our families are aware, the region, Sunrise, we had quite a bit of a rainfall last week on Tuesday night, June the 9th, which led to some power outages. Some sewer backup in one of our sites, and some overland flooding that affected one of our sites as well. So we did have to make the last minute decision to close some schools and close some sites on that day. And we just always, whenever we close a site, we know that it disrupts families' routines and it can present challenges. And so we do appreciate the flexibility and understanding from our families, you know, on that day. And we have our long service and retirement event was held last week, and just not only congratulations to all our retirees and long service recipients, but you know, an event like that doesn't happen without significant work being done. And just thank you to our divisional staff, Jennifer Baker, Sarah Scott, and Jamie Wojcik for the hands they had in pulling that together for us. And just finally, as I say every year at this time, we are heading into a well-deserved summer break, and for most of the people in our system who are 10-month employees, that means the end of a school year and a bit of a time to relax and refresh. And so we hope that they get to make the most of their summer along with our students and families. But we cannot forget that we have a number of 12-month employees in our system who will be working all summer, you know, mostly you know, getting our buses prepared for another year of service in our schools, making sure all the annual maintenance is done and ready for students to return. And so just also thank you to those 12-month employees. And we hope that they do also get to take some time over the summer to spend with family and friends and enjoying a beautiful Manitoba summer, which we know is on its way. So.
Any questions from Trevor? All right, thank you very much for that, Mr. Reed. The board reporting schedule is coming to an end, but you have that there for information, which is always really good. If there's anything that we want to change that board reporting schedule, certainly between now and the end of the year, start talking to Mr. Reed about it, because even in September, that's, I mean, in August, that's a little late for us. Yep.
Sure, well, so we'll bring an updated board reporting schedule for the August meeting for board approval like we did last year. We have identified the one program review, which is the exposures program out of the Springfield area, and I will bring some considerations for a second program review to the meeting in August.
Thank you for that. So we have a Secretary Treasurer's report. Stephen?
It's great when the screen flashes purple because it gets everybody excited. I don't want to duplicate a lot of some of the information that Trevor shared tonight, but I still don't know why it's purple. With that being said, a lot of stuff is being done. A lot of things are going on with the school division. Jen, do you mind clicking off that? Thanks a bunch. So under the finance, they're going to get ready for year-end wrap-up. While all the schools leave at the end of June, we do our year-end audit. We prepare all the financial reporting, gather all the auditing documents. So they'll be preparing for that at the end of the year. We also notice or recognize that there's going to be a new way that we pay teachers at the end of the year due to the new collective agreement. So messaging will be shared with the union if it hasn't already, but we've identified that normally teachers in Sunrise would receive all their payments at the end of June. With the new collective agreement, we can pay those payments in the month of July and the month of August. So that will be a change to how some of the staff are paid. They knew this was coming because it was agreed to in the most recent collective agreement. So that'll be a change. It'll be a change for everybody. And if somebody recognizes they don't have money in the bank account, we are open throughout the summer to address all the payroll questions, so they can give us a call and we can help them out. So that's under finance. Purchasing is going to be busy, scheduling furniture delivery. So as we clean schools, we also bring in new furniture for the year. Some schools are expanding classrooms, so those classrooms will have new teacher desks and student desks and all that good stuff in the classrooms. IT will be busy coordinating interactive display installations. At the time of the report, there was none scheduled, but we do have a few that have requested that. So we do know there'll be some interactive displays, and we'll be busy anticipating some iPad deployment over the summer as well. Maintenance, they are lengthy with projects, which is a good thing. SMS, their food labs, the renovation is underway. I saw a preliminary design which was shared with the school. It's looking really good. Really excited to see that space with a refresh. And I'll probably share some pictures over the summer with the trustees and at our August board meeting. SMS will also have some phase 1 of their gym ceiling completed, and then phase 2 and 3 as the summer months go on. So there's a number of things that they'll be busy with. Oakbank complex drainage plan. So we're at the stage where we're asking RM of Springfield for feedback on what is near our final design with our consultants. So we're hoping, we were hoping to have the feedback received by the end of May. Haven't received feedback yet, but this will have an impact once the designs are done. We'll have the information and we can start preparing the drainage work for all 3 schools in the transportation area. So we're excited to get that done. Lots of work for maintenance. There's no capital projects at this time, but they are busy. As Trevor noted, we had significant rainfall last week. It had an impact on some of our roofs. There are some roof leaks. Edward Schreyer School was one that was greatly affected, and there will be some discussion, and there has been some discussion with the province about roof replacement. We advise the province now that we are in a claim situation with our insurance provider, so we're going to try and address the issue. Our insurance provider will pay for damages to the walls and the ceiling and water damage, but they won't pay for the roof replacement because that is regular maintenance. So we are at the stage of the roof needs to be replaced. We've talked to the province about escalating the situation, escalating the project to have it redesigned, and how best we can mitigate further loss and further water damage. So we are in discussions right now to see if we can slide something into their capital plan at the moment. So that's maintenance. Transportation, constantly looking for drivers. So if you know anybody who is looking for a part-time job that loves driving a school bus or any vehicle, that they can maybe start considering driving a school bus for us, feel free to pass on their information. There is a $1,000 reward basically if you can refer somebody, and they can obtain a job here. We can pass on $1,000 to you. So that goes for anybody working at the Sunrise School Division. Miscellaneous, there's a lot of things that are still going on for our daycares, working with Lac Du Bonnet on future location with the town of Lac Du Bonnet and the RM. So we're hopeful that we can come to some agreement in finding the ideal location. There was a lot of discussion with Dugald Playground and the committee. The plans have been finalized. We've agreed to all the components to the project except one, and that'll be part of phase 2, so they have some time that they can address with a new apparatus. And then the division consistently has committed a minimum of $5,000 to projects. So phase 1 will see a commitment of $5,000, and when phase 2 is ready, we'll be ready to commit $5,000. And usually that amount helps pay for supervision to the assembly of the play structure. So this way they can bring in an expert and assist on the structure and how well and where it needs to go and how it needs to be bolted together, as well as sometimes there's building permits or some drainage plan that has to be submitted in some places. So that usually helps pay for some of the costs. And then the QP 4456 agreement, that's our administrative assistants, which are formerly known as secretaries, IT techs. We've come to an agreement. We've put most of the signatures on, just waiting for one signature, which will get done probably within the next 24 hours. So looking forward to seeing that come to an end just before the end of the school year. So we've been busy. The final push is on to get everything done before June 30th.
Thanks, Jody. Any questions for Jody? Busy time of the year for you, Jody. Thanks very much for going ahead and doing that. So a number of things under board business that we're moving forward with. A lot of them have to do with you, Mr. Reid. So the first one, early childhood readiness report, or is that, yep, okay.
Just the report is there for the trustees' information. It should be a very familiar report. You get a very similar version of this every year from Claudia Oldcorn, who is our early childhood readiness coordinator. The noteworthy information is on page 2 in the chart. It continues to show that the majority of our kindergarten registrants get to go through the screening process. And the value for schools is being able to have early identification of students who may benefit from some pre-planning before they arrive in school September. So our schools are just able to do really good work in terms of welcoming some of our students who need a little bit extra when they get to school in September.
Any questions for Mr. Reid? So my question then is, with this, Trevor, the goal of it is for us to receive early identification so that we can be prepared come September. That's the ultimate goal of this, and that seems to be working then?
Yeah, that's the goal, and it is working extremely well for the 88% of the families who choose to participate in the screening, and for those 88% of those who actually registered, for kindergarten on time. And so we still get, caught a little bit unprepared, with the 12% of families at times that don't participate in the screening, or those families who register in kindergarten, over the summer and into late August and into September.
So I guess you know my next question certainly is coming. So with that, and I think that it's good, and it's not for you to answer today, but it's obviously about what are we doing about trying to find the 12% that aren't coming to us, so that we can get out there, because that 12% is probably not equally devised division across our school division. There are some schools that probably have a lot more than 12%, and so it's something that's ongoing.
So two pieces there. The 12% are the families that we know about that have just said no thank you. And they've all received multiple invitations to, participate. The second category is the one that you were referring to, is the students who register late. And we continue to do everything we can to advertise the opportunities, including going to preschool programs and handing out registration packages. And sometimes, unfortunately, they just don't come back. And so we still continue to work at it.
Something similar that was on the news today, certainly about attendance and absenteeism and stuff that a number of school divisions are looking at trying to go ahead and do. Winnipeg one was on there, certainly talking about the concern about kids and how do you get them to school. At one time we opened our doors and kids came. Well, part of it is now it's about how do we get them to come into our buildings and where some of the extra help is. That's another ongoing topic, but fair enough. I think talent development data is the next part, and is that you, Lars, that's doing that? Okay.
As an aside to the previous topic, Claudia's professional learning plan was about the effect of the follow-up she had with some families, and that showed some very direct beneficial results on a second score that was quite promising to show that not only the screening is worth it, but the family she's able to follow up with to provide some extra, even minor services and directions seem to be helping the kids quite a bit. So in regards to the talent development, a couple of things to point out here for highlights. There are about 40 credits that students earned through talent development, which is encouraging. The high schools participating in the ArtSpeak sessions are quite widespread, and this has become a bit of a consistent pattern that Whitemouth, for its small size, sends quite a few kids to ArtSpeak given the small size of their high school, but all high schools are participating. In regards to the talent development activities from the school, there's a huge list of things going on at the schools there. Interesting to note that there seems to be, I don't know that this is new, but I noticed in this list there's quite a few activities in which Indigenous cultures and activities are highlighted, so that's nice to see. And a really wide range of activities that schools do. And those are just a few highlights of the talent development and ArtSpeak stuff.
Thanks, Lars. Any questions for Lars? Okay, moving on. We have our reading progression data. That's for you, Mr. Reed. Okay. Mr. Gilbert.
No, not that one. Won't open. First time it's not opened. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll close mine. If you scroll to the summary, that's really the highlight. It pulls the information together. If you include the yellows, it's worth noting here that the reds, yellows, and greens are what we've decided to categorize as meeting where they're expected to be at. So the yellows is actually a very narrow range, which would explain in some ways why there might not be a lot of kids in that range, because it's a very narrow range. We consider the yellows to be a year or a year and a half lower to where we think they should be according to the progressions, and this is a Sunrise interpretation. So if you include the yellows, seeing as it's not that, it's reasonable for kids to be in that range. 75% of the students in reading are near or above where they should be, and 66% are near or above where they should be in writing. And in the percentage of students that are in the red, we've also dug a little bit deeper to look at, well, how far behind are they? And the vast majority of students who are considered behind are only 2.5 years behind where we think they ought to be according to the progressions. So in terms of the summary things, those are the broad observations. We do continue to see an inconsistency between progression data and what's on the report cards, and we are again going to address that with schools. We were talking about that today, and with the data we have, I believe we're able to identify very specifically specific grades, schools, and people to follow up with on that. And we are open to the idea that there may be good reasons why there's that inconsistency, and we want to identify why that is. If you can scroll down a little bit further, just for interest's sake, we are getting a new set of progressions from the province. They will not match completely what we have. The provincial progressions are, we believe they're going to be up to grade 5. Ours go up to grade 8. We assume we are going to be adopting those. And when I say heat map, here's a visual example of what we mean by a heat map. This is just the reading heat map. So the stages that are named on the left-hand side are a progression from kindergarten to grade 8. And then across the top are the grades. So in grade 2, early is considered yellow, and transition or beyond would be at or above grade level. Emergent and awareness, if you're in grade 2, would be considered below.
Thanks, Lars. I don't know if this question is for you, Lars, or for Mr. Reed, but one of the questions that we've talked about as a board, and I'm going to say, Trustee Rowland, you've talked a little bit about, is that I'm not looking for details, but what's the plan that if we're showing that we have a difference between our progression data and our report cards data, what's really then the plan that you have so that that gap narrows with how we're doing things?
We do have a rudimentary plan. We noticed that the first time around, we discussed it at CELT in quite a bit of detail, asked them to follow up. We talked to schools individually with administration. The next step is to identify very specific people to talk to. And again, there's learning to be had about why that difference may exist. If we identify from a cohort of teachers that there's a reason why that exists, we will be able to have better data or understand how to make our progressions better. We would expect to see some difference between what a teacher might say is a 2 or a 3. The concerning ones would be a 4 on the report card, which is fantastic, but still really low on the progressions. That's too much of a discrepancy. That shouldn't exist. So we are planning on identifying at a much more granular level people to talk to understand why that is.
And just to make really clear what Mr. Philbert was speaking to is we were actually just talking about this morning, and we'll be visiting schools ourselves to speak to classroom teachers about the discrepancies in their data in the fall.
So again, these are some of the things that the board is great for information. Thanks for as to where it is. I don't think that we need a detailed plan, but what we want to do is see a difference. And if you're telling us that you're working on that difference, that's great to hear. Okay. Trustee Reed, Trustee Dent.
Sorry, you're just kind of summarizing up maybe some of my fears. Like I look at this and I'm a little concerned, and I'll tell you what my concern is. Is in reading. The folks that fall within the red, the highest percentage of red are the last 3 years that we have them that on this chart. And in writing, it's the last 2, and the third year is kind of the fourth highest percentage. So when I'm trying to process this, as well as, we're at the end of the year, we go through another year of all our delegations talking about kind of different resourcing that they're wanting to purchase. I'm thinking to myself that maybe a divisional strategy as to a resource that we agree upon might be more sufficient than each school going out and doing their own research and trying to incorporate their own program. Because when I look at these numbers, when we have students for the longest amount of time on this chart, they're doing the forest. And so that doesn't equate for me.
What we would expect to see, given our focus most recently on early years, it would be extremely disappointing and very concerning if we didn't see that increase. In several years, our grade 5, 6, 7s, and 8s ought to be doing very well because of our focus now on early years. If that didn't happen, I would be gravely concerned because we haven't been focusing really directly on middle years and up. Literacy, reading and writing skills, it's a matter of logistics and available resources for what to focus on. We have been focusing mostly on early years. We have to look at the data we have to also identify in the years that you're identifying there's a problem there. That information is concerning, so our program leaders in that area will need to address what are we doing for those kids as well.
So I guess what I'm hearing then is that early intervention doesn't necessarily result in longer term success or prevention.
The kids in grade 7 and 8 now haven't received, they weren't in kindergarten, grade 1, 2, or 3. They never got that focused, direct, explicit, systematic instruction in literacy that we're now doing. So the current kids in kindergarten, grade 1, 2, and 3, by the time they get into 5, 6, 7, and 8, we need to see different data than this.
So whatever, great report, thank you. It's great we see where we're at. But in the report you said that the red, I believe you said the red ones in those groups are 2 to 2.5 years behind. The yellow is 1 to 1.5 years behind. So when I hear that, that's like, oh my God, the house is on fire. Because I find that quite alarming that somebody in grade 2 could be kindergarten or preschool, like almost at a level that may not even have attended years. Is that like with the province experiencing? I know we have our own thing, but like, and I don't know, I just find that a little bit alarming to try to gauge that it could be 2.5 years behind and they've only been here for 3.
We wouldn't have the hard data on what other schools across the province or divisions on the province are doing because we haven't been collecting this progression type of data. We only have report card data, and as our experience has determined, it's not really reliable. So we haven't been collecting standardized data provincially to determine, are we any different than others? We've learned in many cases in terms of suspensions and attendance that we're actually doing very well related to other divisions. We don't know in this case.
I can only say anecdotally from speaking to, you know, other superintendents and division leadership across the province, yeah, they would be experiencing very similar type of data in their school. Like Mr. Spielberg pointed out, we don't have like those hard data sets to actually draw comparisons to, but conversationally, yeah, no, this would not be unique, and probably honestly, better than most.
So I think that to further answer the question, what I'm very interested in is next year seeing this data along with new data as to see where we are. Because you've talked about a plan in place as to go ahead and do that. You're hearing from trustees that are saying is that, hey, you know what, we're concerned, and yes, I hear what's going on elsewhere. My dad always used to say, hey, Paul, it doesn't matter what everybody else in your class got, they only care about how your mark. He's kind of laughing now in heaven, looking at me there, saying this out loud. And I hear that and I understand that totally. But I think that, so part of it is, you're hearing a concern. You guys have talked about a concern. Again, we're always looking at, okay, so how do we right the ship? And then let's take a look at very similar information, you know, in another year and see kind of where we are. The issue is the place that we want to be. You can hear from some of the concern is where we want to go. Fair enough? Anyone else? Okay, thanks. We now have all the program leader reports. They're there for information. Is there anything that you wanted to? So those are all the program leader reports with regard to information for us. Is there any comments from any of those about work that they're doing? Trustee Rowland?
Just wanted to comment that I'm not really sure. I think I saw a comment maybe we should not be continuing with these reports. I kind of am a little bit surprised by the reports because I think they're not reflecting what information the board would want. Like I feel like this is like a timestamp of their days, kind of like here's, and I don't want to know how they spent every day of their time. I would like to know what the programs they focused on, maybe in that month, or what. You know, I think that's more the information that I think the board was wanting. I don't need to see it. I wouldn't really not want to know a timeline of how many hours they spent in each school. I would prefer to have more data on, I spent 60 or 40% of my time using this literacy program, and these are the results I see, or like more program information. You know what I mean? To me, this is a bit of a, an attendance thing, or you might say, and I don't think there's much value in that, and I don't really want to see that. So as far as recommendation going forward, I don't think that is something the board would need. But if there was I like program leader reports, but more in the application of that time. I'm also wondering where the music leader is. We have a program music leader, and I don't see a report from him. And actually, that is a topic, or thread of things that we often go back to as our band program, and we never seem to hear enough. That makes us happy because that is something that we all hold dear. So just comment on that.
Thanks, Diane. That's a good one. Anyone else want to comment on? And I too, I don't think that we need to know day to day kind of what people are doing, but it's kind of interesting. We were just talking about, do you know what, where we are with reading progression, and that we're struggling a little bit. So I would say, what are all the hands on deck, what we're doing to try to get there? And I know that that's something that you're working on, but that's something that, yeah, from our program leaders' point of view, it's about, again, you teaching some of the teachers how to work better with our students so that our scores or, improve totally. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Good point, Trustee Rowland. Okay, thank you for that information. 8.5 is our borrowing bylaw. Be it resolved that the board approve the second reading of the borrowing bylaw 38626 for $30 million. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Rowland, seconded by Trustee Wilson. Right on. You always want to borrow your motion above $30 million. Any questions of the borrowing bylaw? All right, let's vote. Oh, do we have to do this by hand? Oh, look at that. You're awesome. Yeah, thanks very much, Jen. It passed 6-0. Perfect. What's that? Third reading, 8-6. Oh yeah, be it resolved, the board approved the third reading of the borrowing bylaw. Thought this bylaw went out of my head, 386.26 for $30 million. Moved by trustee Dent and seconded by trustee Rowan. Hearing any questions, none, will vote. They passed 6-0, thank you. The Bossier Sidewalk Crosswalk, Jody, are you going to, all right? Okay. Okay, so be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the cost share project of crosswalks for the town of Bossier. I need a mover or a seconder. Moved by trustee Harris, seconded by trustee Rowan. All right, did you want to say anything? Go ahead, go ahead, Jody. I'll spit it out sooner or later.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on with these click shares. End of season, they're done. Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. We've talked about this several times throughout the course of probably 2 years. The last meeting, we came back with more information. There was a motion on the floor. We tabled it, came back and revised it, but ultimately the town of Beausejour would like to cost share this project. There's a lot of safety concerns brought forth by bus drivers in the school, the PAC, but ultimately it's the decision of the board, and of course to work with our local municipality. So the recommendation this time was to at least cost or pay for a portion of the crosswalks rather than paying for the sidewalk, and it gives, here is the updated map to identify where the crosswalks and sidewalks would go. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, information's in the report, and that's it.
Thank you. Give an opportunity for people to go ahead and speak to this. Anyone want to go first? Trustee Harris?
I have been one of the proponents of the safety around the earlier Beausejour School for a number of years, asking for the town of Beausejour to put in a crosswalk and sidewalk. However, mostly for safety reasons. However, I think it would set a precedence if the school division were to cost share this project, and I think we'll see in the future numerous requests from other municipalities to do something similar around other schools, which I don't think we need to open that can of worms going forward.
Thanks, Trustee Harris. Anyone else? I'm just going to go around the room for people that want to go ahead and speak. Trustee Dent?
Sure, excuse me, I'll jump in. I think we have a couple of other schools as well in my tenure here in the last 4 years that have added crosswalks and added lighting for safety, and it's been at the cost of the RM. I think here we have a situation where the RM has been able to collect 10% on the land purchasing for purposes such as this. And in this case, this hasn't happened, and I think our ratepayers would much prefer that that their tax dollars are put towards teacher support and resources for kids learning, as opposed to kind of bricks and mortar of a sidewalk that lays on the RM property. So for those purposes and those reasonings and rationale, I won't be supporting this cost share measure.
Thanks, Trustee Dent. Trustee Rowan?
while student safety is one of the things that is utmost importance to us, we also need to look at the division as a whole and look at our financial responsibilities there. We have approached the RM of Beausejour on more than one occasion, I believe, to ask them for that land dedication fee, and it's not something that they're currently giving to the division. And so it kind of puts us in a position where we may have had those funds to put towards this project if it was something that we were receiving, and currently we're not. And I agree with Trustee Harris that this is a very slippery slope where if we start contributing funds to something that isn't within our mandate, we're going to have a lot of situations like this, and it's going to put us in some tight spots where we have to make some really difficult decisions. So I also am not in support of this.
Thanks, Trustee Rowan. Trustee Wilson? Thank you. Trustee Rowan?
It's very sad that we haven't been able to get a solution to the safety concern so far, the sidewalk on alongside the school. Our mandate with our dollars is for education purposes. It's not for road and sidewalk building off of our properties. The municipality has collected levies on builders or the developments that have surrounded the school and are continuing to be built for such purposes as enhancing sidewalks and safety because of increased citizens living in the area. The municipality has chosen not to collect additional funds for the division's support in this expansion, which was an option available to them, and unfortunately they chose not to exercise that option in their new developments that would help subsidize and pay for the additional costs to all of us. So it is not in our mandate to support a sidewalk. I cannot support.
Thank you. And I'm just going to make a comment is as subdivisions get built, I think that people need to always take a look at this. And to me, I think that we have a very good relationship with our municipalities. But you know, the RM, the town of Beausejour, were the good relationship. But unfortunately, I believe that there was some poor planning that happened, you know, with this. For us to go ahead and build a sidewalk that's not even on our school property, that's a tough one for us. I won't be supporting this motion either. The person that can close this is the person that made the motion. Did you want to add anything else?
So over the years, we've been asking the town of Beausejour for a sidewalk and crosswalks. The motion tonight is strictly for crosswalks, not the sidewalk. The price quote that we received from the town was for $45,000 approximately, which included a sidewalk and 2 crosswalks. They were wanting to cost share that, which would have been about $22,500 each. The total cost of just the crosswalks, which is what we're asking for in this motion, is only $16,000, which is below that half cost share that they were requesting. So it's something that they should be able to cover based on their total quote if we're looking at just the crosswalks, which I think is all that we require certainly at this time. And perhaps in next year's budget, the town can properly budget accordingly for the sidewalk and put that in at that time. Thank you.
Okay, so that ends debate on this. I'm going to call the question. We're going to go ahead and vote. And so it did not pass. Okay. We're going to continue to move on. Thank you for that. So we're at 8.8, maintenance carryover projects. Be it resolved that the board approve the request to carry over surplus funds of 26-27, the amount of $631,000 for the maintenance department, and these are one-time costs, correct? All right. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Rowan and seconded by trustee Wilson. Any questions on these? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 6-0. Thank you for that. Ward boundary bylaw. I think that I can let you talk to this, Jody. Is that what you wanted to go ahead and do?
Yeah, I'll make it brief.
Okay.
Yeah, just to bring everybody up to date and the general public, the province has required us to revise our ward boundary, and this is again the election boundary, not our school boundary. So this is for balancing the number of eligible voters in each ward. We want equal representation as per the Public Schools Act. This right now we are working with Landmark Planning as to the new balancing, and it to basically move Ward 1 seems to be under the threshold, so we're going to draw some folks or some voters likely from Ward 2, 6, and possibly 8 to balance that. So that's the preliminary design right now. No maps are available, but we will have updated maps likely by the end of this week. And then when we publish the information and the board votes on that, it should be next week, we can then publish all that information just in time for the new election. So that's the information.
Thanks, Jody. Any questions for Jody? Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting this together, the list of new hires by school. It's a great opportunity for us to go ahead and see. And this is a little bit of a kidding, but we just brought those teachers in probably on $1 million contract over the next 10 years. Think about it. Is that for those teachers, we're probably paying them $1 million over the next 10 years. Not what a hockey player is making over, for a short period of time, but it's really good to see. Thanks for putting that information together, and welcome aboard to all the new teachers that are coming, that are joining Sunrise. Thank you for doing this. Divisional reserves. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the application for the continued use of a land acquisition reserve for the purpose of acquiring land for future school sites in the Springfield area, and approve the renewal of the IT network infrastructure reserve to support ongoing capital investments in technology infrastructure. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Dent and seconded by trustee Rowland. Any questions to this? Hearing none, we'll vote. And thank you for that. It passed 6-0. So the compensation disclosure report is available to us. That's on 8/12. Thank you for sharing that. That is something by law that we're required to go ahead and do. You have that information. If anybody online wants to certainly see that, that's there. And thank you for showing that. So be it resolved that the Board of Trustees receive the audited schedule of compensation of Sunrise School Division for the year ending December 31st, 2025. For information, that will be posted on the Sunrise School Division website as per regulation. Moved by trustee Wilson and seconded by trustee Rowin. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote, please. And it passed 6-0. Thank you for that. And so 8:13 is a motion that we are going to go ahead and do. That's not. We'll have to do this by hand. And the motion. Oh, you are good. Okay, so I don't have it then. Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees. Be it resolved that the Board approve trustee Boyton's leave until September the 1st, 2026. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Dent and seconded by trustee Wilson. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. I'm not refreshing my computer as fast as you are. That's good. Are we missing anything else? Committee reports. Trustee Rowan, anything from the policy committee?
I just want to take a moment to thank the members of the policy committee for their hard work this year. Just as a reminder for those that aren't aware, policy this year consisted of trustees Wilson, Roland, Boydson, and myself, as well as Superintendent Reed, Assistant Superintendent Fieldberg, and Executive Assistant Jennifer Baker. And I just wanted to mention that since it's an election year, policy will likely meet again in the fall prior to the new board and their inaugural meeting.
Thank you for that, and appreciation for the people that worked on policy. Thank you for doing that. We have our finance committee. Is there anybody on our finance committee? Now, Trustee Boydson's the chair. I'm going to turn this to you, Trustee Dent. You're on the finance committee. Is there anything from the finance committee you'd like to share?
No, I don't think so at this time. I think we have a meeting coming up. Pardon me? Thursday, thank you. The 18th. I was going to say the 19th, but we never meet on Friday. So on the 18th. So thank you for putting me on the spot.
All right, thank you very much, Trustee Rowan. We have a motion. So this is for the ad hoc land planning committee. Be it resolved that the board approve the recommendations brought forward by the ad hoc land planning committee as outlined above. Moved by Trustee Rowan, seconded by Trustee Rowland. Did anybody want to comment anything about this?
So the information is there if anybody has any questions, but I also just wanted to thank all the members of the ad hoc committee. We've been working at this for about 2.5 years. Those members are Trustee Dent, Trustee Roland, Trustee Boydson, and myself, as well as Superintendent Reed and Secretary Treasurer Thiesman.
Anyone else will be good with this? All right, hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 6-0. Thank you, Jennifer. So professional development, I think a couple of you are heading out to the CSBA. Thank you for that. The capsule conference report is here, brought forward by Trustee Smith, as we've asked. So thank you, Trustee Smith. She's not here right now, but you have that information there from Trustee Smith. Any questions on that for anyone? No? Okay, so nice. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, are we going to bring that forward so that if folks have questions of that information of Trustee Smith, that she's here to respond to them?
I'm not sure what do you mean, do we want to bring that forward? That we want to accept?
So she submitted a presentation, so trustees may have questions about the material that she's provided forward, being that she's attended that conference. So I'm wondering if we bring it forward to a meeting that she's here so that she may be able to respond to some of the questions.
So what you're asking is that when we meet in August, we'll bring that forward and get her to that if anyone has, trustees have any questions, we'll go from there. Absolutely. Great idea. I was wondering what you're talking about. Thank you. All right. Nice to know information. Jennifer, you put that together. Thanks for putting that information together. Sarah did. Do you know what? Just very quickly, all of us are thinking about Sarah. So, do you know what, Sarah? If you're listening online or whatever, we're all thinking about you. We have upcoming meetings on August the 25th and September the 1st. However, I do think that we probably need to have June 23rd, a very quick meeting. So there will be a meeting on June 23rd. Thanks for that. The press release is there. Do we have questions from the public, Jody? So I do have one motion that came from in camera. I'm not sure if we're going to have others, but one of the motions is, be it resolved that the board approve the changes to the senior administration contracts as discussed in camera. Changes to take effect September 2026. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Wilson, seconded by trustee Rowan. Any questions to this?
What was the start date of that?
September 1st, 2026.
I didn't hear the first.
Anything further? All right, we'll vote. By hand? Oh yeah, sorry Jen, you probably told me this already. Sorry, my fault. So, by hand, all those in favor? So it's carried 6-0. Thank you. Will we have anything else from in camera? No, so we're good to call the meeting and then we'll go back into in camera. So I'll adjourn the meeting and we will move into in camera very shortly. Thank you for listening.